Hey everyone, today we're going to be checking out the 30-liter hybrid backpack from Stubble and Co. And this is another addition to an interesting category of bags that's becoming more and more popular, where you have something that can work as a carry-on, so it's going to give you a little bit more space, but not so much that you couldn't use the bag when you arrive at your destination. And in this video, I'm going to be talking about what it's been like to use this over the past couple of weeks. I'll show you how I've loaded it out, walk through all the features, and I'll also talk about how it compares to some of the other similar bags that are currently on the market. Before jumping into the video, if you're new here, welcome. My name is Danny, and on this channel we love reviewing popular travel and everyday carry gear. If you like these types of videos and you'd be interested in seeing more, please consider subscribing, as it helps the channel out a lot. So with all that being said, let's go ahead and jump in. Starting off with the overall aesthetic, to me this has a pretty sleek and modern appearance that still has some functional aspects, and so you have compression straps, handles on the side, but it never feels overwhelmingly technical and is something that's going to work well in a lot of different environments. And then as far as the materials, the bag feels very solidly built. The exterior is a recycled 900D fabric that feels like it's going to offer plenty of durability and weather resistance. It's got kind of a TPU-like feel, and so it seems like water would just kind of bounce off of this. And the bag comes in at a little bit over 3 pounds, so it's not the lightest, but I think that it strikes a pretty good balance just given, the features and the size that this offers. Beyond that, you have some really nice materials as far as the buckles, the straps, and some very smooth working zippers, which I don't believe are YKK, but I haven't had any issues with them so far. Continuing along the outside of the bag, I was happy to see that you have an external water bottle pocket on one side. This is going to offer a nice amount of space. Here I have my 20-ounce water bottle, and that slides in there very easily. I like the materials that have been used here. You have a nice amount of elasticity, and it's a pretty tall compartment, which is going to be very helpful for a water bottle, or if you want to use it to store an umbrella or anything like that. And then you have carrying handle at the top and on the side. And these feel well reinforced. You have a durable material here. They're not the most cushioned, but they get the job done. And then you have some attachment points near the handle. You can clip on an additional accessory with a carabiner. And you have compression straps, 2 on each side. The top one is gonna offer this G-hook attachment, so you can actually loosen it, maybe pair it with the water bottle, and then it's easy to get this on and off, and you can tighten the bag down when it's not as full. You can attach other items. At the bottom on each side, you have an additional compression strap. This one does not have a G-hook though, so you can't loosen it quite as much. It's not as flexible, but still useful for maybe compressing the bag down, particularly, if it's not as packed out, just to make it slimmer. And then as far as the branding, you have the small Stubble and Co logo here on the front. I like that it blends in. It's not a super prominent logo. And then you do have a larger one at the bottom. And the last thing I'll call out while we're talking about the exterior is that the bag does manage to stand up fairly well on its own. I did, however, notice that sometimes when the weight shifted around a little bit, it had a tendency to tip forward. Moving into the capacity, this comes in at about 30 liters, which has always been an interesting size to me. It definitely feels like a hybrid, so it's not quite a full-fledged travel pack, but it's also on the larger end of what I would normally want to use for my day-to-day. Still, the space gives you a nice amount of flexibility. I was impressed with how much it was able to hold. It still feels like something that's manageable if you need to use this for your day-to-day without taking an extra bag. I do feel like it's a slightly taller bag, so you want to keep that in mind. And the profile feels pretty sleek, so it's something that you can use to navigate your day-to-day and carry onto a variety of domestic and international airlines. I do think, however, that this might be a little big for a personal item on the stricter airlines. Continuing with the harness system, so far the bag has been pretty comfortable to wear. The straps offer a nice amount of padding. It feels really soft, broken in right out of the box. On the inside, you have a breathable mesh to help prevent moisture from building up. I do wish that the straps were maybe a little bit wider, given how much this can hold if you're wearing it for a longer period of time. I can imagine that fatigue may start to set in. I haven't had any big issues with it so far, but again, just would have liked to have seen them be a little bit wider. I do like that near the top here, you have the cushion coming all the way around, and then you have a sternum strap here that you can adjust. And on the back, you're gonna have a nice amount of padding that is well distributed. I really like how robust this padding feels. It feels a little thicker than the one that's on the straps. And so you have that same breathable mesh and a deep air channel here to provide you with plenty of ventilation while you're walking around. Last thing I'll mention here is that you have a luggage pass-through that's going to allow you to rest this on your suitcase while traveling to save some weight on your back. Jumping into the organizational options, on the front you have a zippered quick access pocket. This is gonna have a vertically oriented zipper, so if you place the bag down on its side, you'll be able to access this compartment, and this is gonna offer a pretty good amount of space. I was able to use this to store my USB-C hub and its cables. And then on the inside here, I also have my alpaca admin pouch. No additional organization here. You do have that bright liner to provide you with some nice visibility. And then at the top, you have another quick access pocket that's gonna offer a nice amount of capacity. And so at the moment, I have my packable tote bag in here, as well as a headlamp. And then I have my sunglasses with their bulkier case, my AirPods, and a charging cable for my tablet and my phone. And all of those things fit in there comfortably. And it's always great to have this type of pocket to easily reach things, while you're on your trip. On the back, you have a dedicated laptop compartment. This has a pretty well protected zipper. You don't have the ability to lock it in the traditional sense, but I suppose you could use the zipper pulls and a different type of lock to potentially add that theft deterrent. And then the zippers go down a pretty good amount to provide you with easy access to the device sleeves. On one side, you do have a simple slip pocket that might be a good spot for maybe a notebook or something like that. I didn't really place anything in there at the moment. And then you have a dedicated tablet and laptop sleeve on the other side. I like the implementation here. As far as the tablet sleeve, this feels a little bit thicker than kind of a standard slip pocket, not the same as this one here. So you have that added protection. And at the moment, I have my iPad mini in here. It's able to fit in there comfortably. And then on the back, you have the padded laptop sleeve. This also has a nice amount of padding on both sides, and it is properly suspended off the bottom of the ground. So when you drop your laptop in, it's not gonna make contact with the ground. And so at the moment, I have my 14-inch MacBook Pro. A little bit of leftover space here. I can see a 15, maybe a 16-inch laptop fitting. That might be a little tighter, but my 14-incher fits very comfortably. And then taking my device out, now with the compartment empty, you can get a better look at the inside. And this comes up a decent amount, so if you happen to have a thicker device, it should be able to fit in here comfortably. And with the amount of padding that's offered here and the fact that it's suspended, it does feel like my device is gonna be well protected while I'm on the go. And then moving into the main compartment, this does have a clamshell style opening. Like the laptop area, this doesn't lock in the traditional sense, but again, with the zipper pulls, you could probably find some way to secure this if you wanted to. And one thing to note here with the compression straps is that you do have to loosen these at the top to be able to open this up all the way. So you can use this as kind of a top loading backpack if you want, but if you want to, pack it out very easily or just have more visibility, the zippers go all the way down, and then you can get a look at the open layout here. Plenty of space in this main area. And so jumping in at the moment, I have more of a travel setup here. Near the top, I had some extra space, so I tossed in my AR glasses, but then pretty standard here with a packing cube that has an extra pair of shoes. And then I have Peak Design compressible packing cube. And then I also have the medium compressible packing cube. Both of them fit in there very easily. On the inside here, very simple layout. You just have an elastic kind of compression strap here, which I'm never really a huge fan of. I kind of prefer not to have it. But if you're not using packing cubes or you want to be able to compress things and secure them a little bit more, you do have this here. And then on the other side, you have a couple of interesting features. First up, at the top, I like that you have access to the quick access pocket that we saw earlier. So if you open this up, you can access this section without having to flip it around or worry about things falling out. So I always think that this is a really cool idea to give you that dual access. And then on the lid, you have a zippered mesh compartment, which is, good for maybe toiletries, medicines, smaller tech items that you don't want getting lost. But what I really like is this compartment that's behind that, which actually has some dedicated volume so that you can store, couple of different types of things that you might use while traveling. This might be a good spot for a pair of shoes to separate out a jacket. At the moment, I have my packable rain jacket in here, as well as a toiletry bag. And so always a fan of this style and the flexibility that it provides. And so really like this main layout here. Now with it a little bit emptier, you could see it would be slightly large as a daily bag. It wouldn't be ideal in my opinion, but I could toss in a couple of packing cubes or accessories if I was, gonna represent some of the daily items that I might have. Just throw a couple of things in here. And then this is where the compression straps will come in handy to just kind of help shrink the profile of the bag a little bit. The height is still gonna be maybe taller than what many would like to use for their day-to-day, but at least you can slim it down, and then, you know, I think that it can be a pretty useful daily bag if you don't want to carry an extra one while you're on the go. So, you know, your mileage may vary on how comfortable you feel with this size of bag. I have used many of these in the past, and the form factor, the appearance, I think works well for multiple use cases. And so in general, I think this is a really versatile bag. I love the amount of space that it offers, the simpler layout, the materials. I think that, you know, it checks off a lot of the boxes for what I'm normally looking for. And, you know, if you're in the market for a sleek, minimal travel bag, this is gonna be a really cool option to consider. And so to wrap up, it's been a pretty great experience testing out the 30-liter hybrid backpack over the past couple of weeks. You can currently purchase this on the company's site. It's gonna come in at around $240, so definitely an investment. You are getting something that's very solidly built and is gonna offer a nice feature set, but there's gonna be some other great bags in this price range that may be worth considering. And so as I was testing this out, one of the first bags this made me think of is the Bellroy Light Travel Pack, which is offered in a 30 and 38 liter size. The 30 liter has been a bag that I've really enjoyed using because it's able to hold an impressive amount, but the form factor never feels super large. And I really like Bellroy's minimal kind of rugged style with those bags, very solid materials, comfortable harness system. It's got a nice layout that is effective, but it doesn't go overboard as far as the pocketing that it provides. You have a dedicated laptop compartment, luggage pass-through, and of course, one of the biggest selling points with that bag is the weight. It's gonna be surprisingly lightweight for the size and the features that it includes. It doesn't have all the same organizational options as this one here, and the materials maybe don't feel quite as weather resistant, but if you're looking for something that's gonna prioritize weight savings and still offer great style and feature set, and that's gonna be a fantastic option to consider. Another bag this made me think of is the Able Carry Max, which has been a popular bag in this size range for a number of years now. Very high quality materials. I really like the X-Pack fabric that Able Carry offers for that bag. Very comfortable harness system. You have a nice organizational layout, so quick access pockets. The water bottle implementation on that is going to be a little bit different than this one here, so it can zip up to give you some more flexibility. It's not a traditional water bottle pocket, but it still works well. You have a dedicated laptop compartment that's padded, suspended. You have a mostly clamshell style opening bag, so easy to organize. It's going to be travel friendly. It comes in at about 30 liters, so again, similar capacity to this. And if you're looking for something in this size range that's going to offer a little bit of a different layout, and that's going to be a great option to keep in mind. And then the last option that I'll mention here is the Patagonia Mini MLC, which has been one of my favorite bags of the past couple of years. It comes in at 30 liters, so a similar capacity to this one. Clamshell style opening, very easy to organize for minimal travel. It's got a pretty comfortable harness system, luggage pass through. I really like that you can hide the straps away, use it as a shoulder bag. You can also use the shoulder strap as a waist belt, which I think is a really cool feature. You have an external water bottle pocket, tech area with a padded laptop and tablet sleeve, some good organization, and so it just really checks off a lot of the same boxes as this one here. It's pretty lightweight, it's got durable materials, and so if you're looking for something very flexible that's going to offer a nice layout, and that's going to be one of the best options to take a look at. With that being said, the 30-liter hybrid backpack holds up very well against all those options, and I've been really impressed with my first experience with Stubble and Co.'s bags. Really like the materials on this, the layout, everything felt well thought out, and you know, if you're looking for a sleek, durable, minimal travel bag, I think this is going to be a really cool option to check out. And I'm definitely curious to hear what you all think of the 30-liter hybrid backpack and how it compares to some of the other popular minimal travel bags that are currently on the market. And if there's any similar options that you think that I should check out, as always, please let me know in the comments. And I want to thank the company for sending the bag for me to test out, and to you guys for watching and supporting the channel. If you enjoyed this video, please give us a like. And if you haven't already, make sure to subscribe so you don't miss any upcoming videos, and we'll see you in the next one.